First of all, I'd like to say that decentralization is a state reform, and as such is different from privatization processes, which entail a transfer of enterprises to the market, to the economic market. So decentralization is a reform that entails different levels of government. In federal countries, for example, or in other countries that are significantly large, we have three levels of government: the central government, the intermediate level, and the local level. Sometimes there are more, sometimes there are less. Sometimes there are only two levels, sometimes there are four or more levels. But decentralization entails the transfer of responsibilities, resources, or authority from higher to lower levels of government. In Latin America, for example, since the late 1970s, beginning of the 1980s, we've seen a transfer of responsibilities from central governments towards a state or intermediate level or local governments. Now, how is decentralization different from deconcentration? Deconcentration is a more basic form of decentralization, where what happens is that central agencies, usually national ministries, put delegations that represent them in the territories, but they appoint the people of those delegations, and those delegations are directly accountable to the center. So it's just as putting a branch of the central ministry in the federal entities or departments or states or provinces. Decentralization entails the devolution or the delegation of authority, resources, and responsibilities to subnational governments. And in fact, in terms of decentralization, in the literature, we distinguish between three different types of decentralization. Administrative decentralization, which is the transfer of responsibilities, such as the authority to administer or deliver, manage education or health services, infrastructure, poverty alleviation programs. So a transfer of social services from higher to lower levels of government. Fiscal decentralization, which entails the decentralization of authority to tax or higher levels of transfers from higher to lower levels of governments. And political decentralization, which some people understand to be the popular election of subnational authorities. I think it's a little bit broader than that. It should also include our definition of political decentralization, electoral or constitutional reforms that enhance the political authority or autonomy of subnational polities. So in this regard, for example, the creation of a subnational assembly that didn't exist before, or a constitutional reform that significantly enhances the autonomy of municipalities or departments would be an example of a political decentralization reform as well.